I'm back. This is going to be part 2 of the video. Anyway, my son's friend came and I forgot how to turn a camera thing back on. But anyway, this is part 2. To be honest, I shouldn't have turned it back on because I'm a train wreck now. I don't even know what I was talking about. I guess I was talking about brothers and sisters and... Oh, I know what I was talking about. How many times I've been married. I remember that. Well, like I was saying in the other video, I was married to a very abusive person, and I used to go to the truck stop to hide out to feel safe with me and my son, which is now 38 years old. Can you imagine me? I have a 38-year-old son. So I'd go to a truck stop and play Pac-Man and Asteroids and hang out, and I got to be a regular, and I met this guy named Andy, and he said, "Why are you here all the time, you know?" and stuff like that. He thought I was a hooker, but I'm not a hooker. So he goes, so I told him my story, and he says, "Well, I'll marry you. I'll chase him the F away, and I'll keep you safe for a little while if you help me." I'm like, if I help you? And he explained to me that if he got married, he wouldn't go to jail, supposedly. So, he came and told my husband at the time, "You better leave her alone. Don't hit her no more. Don't threaten her," and everything. Because my first husband, he was always trying to hit me. This nose has been broke like 3 times. And he tried to burn the house down and everything. And that's when the cops told him he had to leave. He could not come back. So then that's when Andy started coming around. And Andy happened to be a bad guy that I didn't really know about. He was a car thief. And I had a really big house in the country. My grandparents were letting me live in this house because the lady who owned the house was my grandma's first cousin's wife. And she was elderly and very sickly, and she was on her way out, if you know what I mean. So I got to live in this house for free, just so that the house was protected because it had all her stuff in it, and I didn't have anything back then. I had some clothes and my kid had some toys. That's all I had. So I lived there and got a divorce. Married Andy. Andy still wound up going to prison. Got a divorce from him. Been divorced, like, I don't know, for like quite a long time. And then I met my daughter's dad, which I went to school with. And he used to date all my friends. He was a popular guy because he'd play the guitar, he'd sing, and he had all this long reddish hair. And he kind of looked like Mick Jagger in a way. He had the big lips and he was like really skinny. And I don't know, for whatever reason I was attracted to him. And he got passed around from all my girlfriends, and I ended up with him and got my daughter. We weren't never married. We were together 12 years. He chose drugs over his family. Plus, to come to find out, after I got pregnant, he was still married to one of my elementary school friends' big sister named Debbie. He and Debbie had 3 children. I don't know what transpired between them and everything. And I kept telling him, his name was Blaine, I kept telling him, "You need to go back to your wife because you got 3 kids and I only got 1 kid. They need you more than I need you. And I work all the time." And so I didn't need anybody to take care of me. So he wound up trying to get straight and got saved at church and all this stuff. And we had bought a house together, and we only had a few more payments to make. And I hurt my back at work, and then my friend that lived in Reno, Nevada said, come to Reno. You could get an easy job out here, because where I worked it was just medical. And I couldn't do any of that stuff because I can't lift and, you know, do what I did, you know, working. Because I was like a program assistant, like a CNA program assistant. I worked with a physical therapist. I was their shadow. I go around assisting them, and an occupational therapist. Plus do CNA work, you know, like cleaning people that have dirty diapers, feeding people, stuff like that, positioning them. So, you know, I would just did it all. And anyway, I hurt my back. Came out here. Got a security guard job. Everything was all good. Then I met my third husband. He's a guy from India. Oh, I just thought he was just the cat's meow. I thought he was so cute, so handsome. Because when I was a teenager, I always had crushes on these Indian guys, you know, Indies and stuff like that wore the turbans. It's like, oh, he's just everything, you know. And meanwhile, well, I wasn't dating him. My daughter's dad was leaving me, and I didn't start dating Babu till my daughter's dad, Blaine, was totally out of the picture. He left. He took off. He trashed our place. We bought a place in Panther Valley, a double-wide mobile home and a trailer park for $6,000. He totally trashed it. He had the cops come kick me out because he sold it for $1,200 worth of dope for crack cocaine. So I didn't have anywhere to go, and here comes my big sad face. And Babu used to work in a gas station that his cousin owned, and he goes, "What's wrong with you?" You know, he's talking all Indian, kind of like. And I told him my story. He says, "Oh, you come home with me. No, we're worried." I'm like, "No, I don't want to come home with you," even though I thought he was cute and everything, because, you know, my grandparents were totally straight-laced white people. They didn't, you don't do that. You don't date, you know. So anyway, I didn't go home with him until when I got kicked out. And me and my daughter and my big son were living in my car. I had a little Chrysler New Yorker. We were living in a car. And so he told me to come home to his house, that he would help me if I help him. Sound familiar? So, excuse me. Oh, this sriracha is making my nose run. So anyway, I helped him. Got married to him. Got him legal here. I was in love. He was in love with me, I think, until his parents found out that I was a white girl. And then his parents wasn't having it. And my grandmother, she was still alive. She wasn't having it either, so nobody was having it. And anyway, we stayed together, and we had my son, Sparky, or Bubby, as anybody knows him. Had him, and then Babu started to lose interest in me, like when Bubby was like 5 years old. We stayed together till Bubby was 5. And he lost interest in me because his girls were hounding him to get rid of me and marry an Indian girl because they were getting old and they wanted somebody to take care of them and all this. And they didn't trust me because I was white. So anyway, out the door he goes. Bye-bye. And then, like, maybe 2 years later, I met a guy named Daniel. He was like a real cute cowboy. He looked like Alan Jackson. Here goes my infatuation again. So everything was good, but he was very jealous and abusive and a drunk, and I got rid of him, kicked his ass to the curb because I'm not having that. And I've been single since 2008. But for the last year, I've been talking to this dude on the internet, another Indian guy. He's too young for me. Very cute, though. Too young for me, though. And I kept telling him this for a long time, for over this year. You know, I think you're really hot, you're cute and everything, and I like you, but forget it. Until I don't know what happened. Maybe all his convincing